Have you ever wondered why some people thrive and then some others struggle, even though they have the same potential, even though they have the same purpose? Most times, the answer often lies in the environment. Let's take a little bit of, into how your environment can shape you into becoming who you're meant to be. Now, I want to explain from the title why environment enables purpose to succeed. Most times, people think that they can ignore this factor and ignore this area, but you can't really do that. And I'll give an example. Recently, I was in a gathering, and in that gathering, with some few other people in this event or this gathering, I was there. I was sitting down with two other ladies. We're having a conversation, and then they said a word or terminology that I don't agree with, because I believe that I don't struggle. I believe that you are to add value to yourself, and then you attract what is needed. If you put in the work, you put in the strategy into it, then it will multiply for you. I believe in a multiplying effect than you working so hard and working putting all the effort and getting very little for your money. So that was what the argument was all about. It was centered about whether we're supposed to hustle so hard, grind so hard. So I said to them, I don't hustle. I don't like that word hustling. I believe that if I give myself value and I input value into my life, then that value, because it's a solution to someone's problem, will attract the right people I need to be with, or I need to share. So I was explaining to them that I don't believe in that terminology. I don't agree with that terminology. And there's so many other conversations we have. I'm not going to go into that. And as we're having that conversation, this person was arguing with me, plain that, no, why do I think this way? They don't agree with me. And I'm like, it's okay if you don't agree with me, but I just don't believe that I have to work my whole life for money. I believe that money should work for me. So the concept of the whole conversation, the conclusion of the conversation was that I believe that money should work for me. That money is a tool. I don't have to be grinding every time I wake up 9 to 5, put in active amount of effort to get active income. I said to the person that I believe that there are strategies and tools that you can use, adding with your gifts and your values and your experience and your potential and purpose, that you can implement, find out a strategy that works, and then create wealth or generate income without being physically there. And I said to them, that's the life I want. I want money to work for me. I don't want to work for money. And it brought a whole argument. Like, I could see these people thought I was rude. They thought I was weird, because the normality is you work for money. So if you're not working for money, then what other options do you have? And because I've been around environments where I've seen people that are doing the thing that I achieved to, I want to and aspire to have, or already am doing, it wasn't, I was not intimidated to keep quiet. I was not intimidated to believe them. If I didn't have those environments, I would have easily said, okay, well, this person has more experience than I am, they're more mature than I am, they're older than I am, so that equivalently means that they know what they're saying. But they don't. They are saying something based off their ideology and mindset that they have. But doesn't mean that you are used to a certain kind of environment, you're used to a certain kind of information, mean that that is the only of information available to you. So I told the lady, I said, listen, if that's how you feel, it's okay. I respect your decision. If you choose that you want to completely continue to work hard for money and you're tired and then your money doesn't multiply, then that's you. For me, that's not what I want. And I said, I agree with you. I accept your way. We're two different individuals. That's what you want, good. And this person was bent on making sure that I agree, and not just only agree, I accept what they're saying. And I kept saying, no, I don't accept it. But I can agree with you if that's what you want to do. But I don't accept that for me. And it was a serious, serious problem. A serious problem because it showed that, oh, let me say that one again. It showed that this person and me don't have the same mindset. Why am I saying this? Sometimes, many times, people would try to reduce your voice if it does not align with the way they think. So I want to talk about how your environment can shape you. It actually can. And if thank God that I already had an environment of people that already thought the way I was thinking. So it was very easy for me to dismiss it. But if I didn't, I would have easily believed that and probably lived a mediocre life. And I'm not saying that if you're doing that, there's something wrong with you. No, I'm just saying that that's what I wanted for my life. I don't want to keep working. I'm tired. I don't have time for my family, or I don't have time for the. I didn't want that life anymore. And I did what others that are doing that have done it. I just did what they did. And now I'm seeing the benefits in my life of freedom, of being able to access things that normally couldn't have. And I want to talk about some few things because I think that sometimes we ignore this aspect, and that's the reason why some people have the same purpose, but some are thriving, some are struggling. Why? And I want to say the first point is where you were born can affect your success. It can 100%. Your environment, your background, your family, your cultural environment can either create opportunities or present obstacles. And now you have to make a decision if you want to stay in that environment that you were born in or you want to step out of it. Most times, some people are born into environments that are not the environment they want to live in. And then they get tired of that environment and then they put in the efforts to go out and source for environments that transforms, environment that changes, environment that makes them become the successful person they aspire to be. Now, you need to recognize this because recognizing this will help you understand your starting point without letting it define your ending point, right? Like I explained to you, I said that yes, I may have been born in this environment where people work so hard, two jobs, three jobs to make money. I was born in that environment, and they may be people that are born in that environment that that's how their reality is. But for me, I told myself that I don't want that limitation. I saw so much limitation, and I didn't want that for myself and my children. So what did I say? I took on the decision. I said, "I'm yes, I may be born I recognizing that this is my starting point, but this is not going to be my ending point." So it's very important that you analyze and you ask yourself real questions. The environment I'm at, is it where I want to be at the end of the day? At the end of my life, do I still want to die in that environment? And if not, what do I need to do to transform myself? The other thing is your current environment matters a lot because if let's say for example for me, yes, I was born in an environment, I started surrounding myself with environments that actually fed the goal that I wanted to aspire. So I started surrounding myself with environments that could help me. And the place you surround yourself with will either nurture you or it will kill your growth. So you have to make sure that you deliberately push yourself into environment that will enable your growth. And ask yourself this question: are you in an environment that fuels your dreams, or are you in an environment that drains your energy? Does it fuel what you want to do, or does it drain it? And if it fuels it, then you want to invest in that environment. If it drains, then you want to neglect that environment. Now, sometimes people may be born in families that are like this. This is where you see people start reducing the time that they spend with family. Not because that you hate your family or not. No, it's for a season, right? You're trying to break free from a specific kind of lifestyle. So what do? You change that environment. I remember a movie I was watching. I'm sure many of you have watched this movie, Suits. And this guy grew up with, he had a friend, he was doing drugs and doing all of those things. And it was good for a season. But after a while, he encountered the law firm, and the person told him, or his mentor told him, that if you want to progress, you're going to have to let go of the dead weights. And many times we carry weights that we do not need. And I understand that you want to take everybody along with you, and it's understandable that you want to do that. But the first thing you need to figure out is, let me come out first. And then when I figure it out, then maybe later on in the future, I'm going to go back and help the other person. So don't just focus on, oh, I was born here, so this is how my life is going to be. No, ask yourself a question. If you had the option to choose the life that will feel like success to you, what will it be? And then when you discover it, find people that are already living that life, listen to what they're saying, and implement it. The third thing you need to do is, where do you aspire to be? To be where you aspire to be drives your ambition. Where do you aspire to be? When you look at yourself, what is the aspiration? If you're here right now, you aspire to be there. What can I do to get there? Right? So you need to visualize yourself in that new environment. And this is so important because you may not have access to these wealthy people, and it's okay if you don't have access to them, but you can entangle yourself with their content, with the things they post online, with your information, and even go to places where these people will normally go. Now, I always said this before. I said that, let's say, for example, you don't know wealthy people. Well, where do wealthy people go? Find out. You may not be able to pay full price of everything they're paying, but you can go to a restaurant where you know that these people are good, or a high-end restaurant, get a glass of tea or drink or whatever it is that you're getting. You may not pay the full money, but at least you can buy a $2-3 uh, drink or something. Or even sit down there, drink water, get a drink, and just sit there. I used to do this all the time. I will go to hotels and I will sit in hotels. Not because I'm even looking for pool. I just wanted to be in that environment. And that shifted my thinking, because the moment I started doing that, I started attracting wealthy friends. I don't know how it works, but it just works. So you have to visualize this, right? Whether that's in a career field or city or mindset, you have to create a pull toward growth, whereby you are going after the thing you're looking for. It may not come to you because there's no way you can attract an environment that you aspire to have, because the environment you're in right now does not feed that life that you're trying to achieve. So what do? You go after the growth. Pull towards growth. Pursue growth. Go to places that you know will help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Listen to content that will help you achieve the goal that you want to achieve. I remember when I first trying to discover my purpose and break free from the mindset and the lifestyle I was used to. I used to watch, there's a man I used to listen to, Dr. Miles Maroon. I could watch 7, 8 of his videos in a day. Like, stretched in a day. During work, I'm listening to his videos. I was consuming a lot of information. I would take notes. I would try to multitask, do my work that I'm supposed to do, but at the same time, and the work I was doing was very good. When you're an engineer, I was working with CAD operated design, so I did not need to be in. I didn't need to, let's say, for example, putting so much of my time in being in communication. I just need to sit down there with my AutoCAD and I'm just designing. So it was very easy for me to listen to content, and we were allowed to put earphones. So I was listening all the time when I was at work. Instead of listening to music, I listened to content that could help me become the person I needed to be. So it's very important that you do that. Don't just say, well, I don't have the resources. Well, you do. Now we live in an era where there's ChatGPT, there's social media, there's content, there's YouTube. There are so many content available now. I don't think there's any much excuse of why you're still in the same place you are in. There's so many places that you can visualize your environment being transformed. Another thing is that where you choose determines success, because now that you understand where you choose to actually determine a success, unlike birth, your chosen environment is within your control. Now, yes, you were born in a specific environment, but where you choose to go is in your control. You can control the narrative of the kind of environment you are in, right? You have the power to place yourself in circles, spaces, and communities that will push you towards success, to push you towards purpose, push you towards growth, into the life that you want to be in. And that was when I started going for networking events. I started joining communities. If there's any event, I want to come. Not all events, obviously, as far as it's aligned to what I want to do, I want to attend. I took on opportunities. I did not sit down and shadow box myself. I didn't sit down and gaslight myself. I didn't sit down and sabotage myself. I took opportunities to be in those spaces. Once in a while, I would go to a restaurant, even though I'm not eating a big food. I would just sit there and just observe. How these people act? What do they do? I followed the people that I wanted to follow, the people that are doing what I want to do. I followed them on social media. I got their books. I fed myself. I controlled the narrative. Yes, I was born in that place where you have to work for money, but I wanted to be in that place where money works for me. So I made sure that I transformed my mindset, but also not just only transform my mindset, I put myself in places where I could be around people that talked about the conversation, have conversations about money working for them. So I kept learning. And that is how you build an environment of alignment. You have to understand that success comes when your environment, your surroundings, your goals, and your actions align. So that will help you frame. You don't have people draining, taking away your mindset, saying you're weird. And many people will talk. Sometimes your family will be like, you're crazy for doing this, and it's okay. Well, when somebody wants to achieve a goal, it has not yet been achieved. So the person looks weird until it's achieved, and people are like, "Oh wow, it actually was right." When I was reading an article about the person that created electricity, that he failed 900 plus times. It was, I think, on the 1000th time that he succeeded in creating the light bulb. That people were like, "Oh wow, now we use the light bulb." But then when he was saying those things, it didn't make sense. The other day, I went to the park with my loved one, and we're sitting under. I have a big brother, and as we were sitting there, they have this splash. It's like a water splash pad for kids, and I was sitting. I was like, I'm just imagining this person that created or had this idea. That person must have sounded stupid to many people. I want to create a place where water comes from the ground and kids can play. I'm sure at first the person looks delusional, but when he did it, I'm sure he did it. Many parks now have it. Doesn't look delusional now, does it? You need to be so passionate about changing your environment. You need to be so passionate about changing your environment. And that's the only way your purpose will truly thrive. The environment that you're in. If your environment that you were born in is not feeding you, be in environments that can fuel and add to your process of growth. Don't just take and accept fate and say, okay, yeah, well, that's it. Right? Look around. What is in your environment is holding you? What in your environment is keeping you down? What in your environment is limiting you? When you notice that, then you can change today to step closer to your purpose. Don't just stick to the what you're used to, what you know. Stick to your purpose, your growth, where you aspire to be. And if your environment right now is not feeding you, then change it. Change the environment. If you know you can't be in contact with the people you aspire to be, consume their content. Try to be as much as in close proximity to them by watching their videos, watching their content. If you can buy their books, buy their books. If you know you can get the course, get their course. Be as much as you can close and be in close proximity with these people. The more you spend time consuming that content, being around that kind of content, the more you become who you need to be to strive to thrive in that place of growth. Now, I hope that you don't just sit down and accept destiny or accept what was given to you. You analyze it, you realize that you no longer want to be mediocre. You realize that you no longer want to be in a limited mindset, but in an abundance mindset. And I'll see you guys for the next video. Bye.